What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim Afanis, aka Viper Magic, and I wanted to talk to you guys about Battleground WWE 2015. I have a list of all the matches here below me. I'm going to briefly go over some of the highs and lows of the pay-per-view. Overall, I would give it a solid B. There were a few things in there that just were really weird, so let's dive right in. On the pre-show match, they had RTruth face off against Wade Barrett in the "Who is the real king of the ring" kind of thing. And RTruth came out wearing this really goofy-looking hat. It looks like a Burger King crown, but it was all taped together. And instead of a scepter, he had a plunger. And it just goes to show that if you are the real king of the ring, as King Barrett has now become, it is a career killer. I saw it in Sheamus. I've seen it in Wade Barrett. Pretty much, if you win King of the Ring, you're destined to be an idiot for about a year. So, unfortunately, Wade Barrett continues his struggles with mediocrity. Obviously, when he was Bad News Barrett, that was really, really cool. I loved him as the leader of the Nexus. And now he's just floating around fighting a guy with a plunger. Tough break, dude. First official match was Sheamus versus Randy Orton, which is kind of a weird card or a weird way to start off the card because there's not really a lot of heat between these two guys. They just kind of started not liking each other, and the match was a pretty standard Randy Orton match. You know, Sheamus was pretty powerful, doing his thing, and then of course RKO out of nowhere to win the match. It was okay. You know, Randy Orton is a very good technical wrestler. I really enjoy watching him. And Sheamus's new look with the weird mohawk and the braided beard, it's really cool. I like him being a villain because when he was, before he got injured, when he was a face, it was kind of stagnant. So to see people, you know, switch sides and suddenly be this monster heel, it's really, really cool. It reminds me back to the days when Sheamus first started. But, you know, carrying around the Money in the Bank, kind of stuck right now in a dead-end feud with Randy Orton. I think both these guys need to move on to something else. I'm hoping that this officially ends this feud and they both go off and do something a lot more entertaining than this because this doesn't seem that exciting for either of them. Next, we had the Primetime Players versus the New Day. Keeping in touch with the fabulous Freebirds rule, this was Kofi and Big E squaring off against the Primetime Players. I love the Primetime Players. I love their theme song. I love Titus O'Neil. I think they're really, really good together. Darren Young is a really good guy to watch as well. They're a lot of natural charisma. So this is kind of the rematch from the Money in the Bank where they did win the belt. And thankfully, they defended. It was really, really good. And man, I'll tell you what, Titus is really, really built. The way he was throwing on Big E Langston was very impressive. The guy is really, really built. Good match. I'm happy they won. They retained. It was kind of funny. It was almost like they didn't know what to do after they won the match because they ran out onto the ramp and they didn't have their belts. And I was like, wait. And the ref's like, hey, take your belt. And they're like, oh, okay, thanks, ref. And then they were holding them up like, yeah, we won. So it's kind of funny. Like they forgot for a minute or something. But hey, you know what? My hand's off to him. Darren Young pulled off this really cool apron move where it was almost like it wasn't a suplex. He just kind of lifted up the guy, and then he just jumped off on the floor, and the guy just kind of dropped on the apron. It was really, it's kind of hard to explain, but it was I've never seen that move before. I don't even know what the name of it is. I'm having a hard time even explaining it to you guys. If you guys saw the match, let me know what you guys thought about that move. Is that something that he does a lot? I don't watch SmackDown at all, so if these guys are kind of SmackDown stars right now, because I don't really see him on Raw, maybe he does this all the time, and it's just kind of run-of-the-mill. But when I saw it, I was like, whoa, that is really cool. Moving on, we had Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns. Bray Wyatt needs to win matches, and thankfully, even though Luke Harper came back, and that was the big spoiler at the end, that Luke Harper looks like they're bringing the family back together. Hopefully we get Eric Rowan in there too, because both those guys after the Wyatt family, they went on to do nothing. So, I mean, let's face it, they need to be together. I'm happy that Bray Wyatt actually won a match, though it wasn't clean. He's had a lot of feuds where he's gone after people. He went after John Cena. He went after The Undertaker. Now he's going after Roman Reigns. And minus this win here, he's really been unsuccessful. It's hard to take somebody serious as this demented, twisted heel who's, you know, anyone but you. And he's got all this weird cult that he has almost. Just not to be able to win anything. It's like you're just a pain in everyone's ass. You just get your ass beat down and you move on from person to person to person. So make him mean something. Make him win clean. Make him a true offensive threat. His loses is way too much. He really does. And I know wins, losses don't mean anything really in the WWE, but when you lose consistently, I mean, you really lose credibility. You turn into like The Miz. You know, you're just kind of like a guy. I mean, he's got a cool gimmick right now. It will wash up eventually, and then he doesn't have much to show for it, you know. So that's a good fight. I don't know where this feud's going to go from there. Obviously, he cost Roman Reigns the Money in the Bank contract right at the end of Money in the Bank. You know, Roman was climbing up the ladder. Bray Wyatt appeared, knocked him out. He didn't win. I expect this feud to go on probably in the SummerSlam because this is only kind of a month-old feud. But bringing back Luke Harper's a great idea. I suspect this will probably be a good injection point for Dean Ambrose, to get Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Those guys have amazing chemistry together, but we'll see. Then we moved on to the Divas match. This was really, really good. This is the whole revolutionizing the Divas thing. You had Sasha, Brie, and Charlotte, who is Ric Flair's daughter. Very, very good technical match. There was a couple places where I was like, ooh, I don't know what was going on. And I think a lot of it has to do with Ric Flair's signature chop move. Females obviously can't do that to each other because, you know, anatomy. So there's a lot of like weird kind of chops from Charlotte that weren't really chops, and they didn't make the noise. Obviously, they didn't really have the impact. So I think they need to retool that a little bit because they make such a big deal about her being Ric Flair's daughter, and his music is injected into her theme song and kind of her signature move, the figure 8, which is really, really cool variant of the figure 4. That's just the slap piece is missing. But it was a really, really exciting match to watch, and I hope it shakes up the Divas. It's funny to see, you know, even though Brie and Nikki haven't been around forever, like they're like the mother hens now. Natty's absently missing from all this, which is kind of surprising. And for as much as they hyped up Eva Marie during Total Divas, I know Total Divas is taped way in advance, you know, way behind the actual show. Eva Marie's nowhere to be seen. Looks like JoJo's stuck in the back on ring duty, and Cameron's been gone for a very long time. So, but it's exciting to see some new blood in the Divas division. Looks like Paige has some cool allies, and I'm excited. I hope they get more ring time. I would love a WWE world in which there's more than one Divas match a show. I think that's something that could realistically happen. I'm talking about on Raw now. I think that's something that could realistically happen. I'd like to see some more feuds going on other than just the like one or two signature. You know, just the one signature feud that they seem to have. I think you have enough depth and a lot of personality with the new NXT Divas coming up the roster that I'd like to see them injected more into the show. I don't see any reason why they can't be. Just a suggestion to WWE, because I know you guys watch it. My videos, that is. Now on to the big two. The penultimate match was John Cena versus Kevin Owens. And wow, what a great match. I don't know if Kevin botched some moves or if it was intentional that way, but Cena took some really hard lumps. I mean, like, dropped on his head 2 or 3 times, and then Cena got up and hit Kevin with this really stiff clothesline, and it blew him back. And I wonder if that was like, hey, dude, watch it. Or was that part of the match to show Cena losing control? Because, again, you think back to what happened. You look at Cena's career in the past, especially with The Rock, when he started showboating and he kind of lost his way. I thought maybe they were going to go with that angle, but ultimately it just ended up resulting in a pretty long, drawn-out fight between the two, other than that little area where it seemed like they were getting a little rough with each other. They both used each other's finishers, which is cool. Cena continues to try to up his arsenal. I saw the running bulldog. I saw the Hurricanrana. There's some good stuff. It's cool. I think what was really cool about this match was that Cena actually beat someone with the STF. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, man, the STF is just a novelty now, but it's cool to actually see someone succumb to the STF. I don't know what's next for Kevin Owens. I've heard rumors that he may be going back to NXT now that Rusev's back. I don't know how that's going to work out. I think Kevin Owens is definitely cemented himself as a main roster guy. I'd love to see what he does next. I think he's an amazing wrestler. He's got a really good look. He's really good on the microphone. Definitely a monster heel right now, especially when he took out that guy. I think Machine Gun Kelly. I don't know the rapper's name, but when he beat up that rapper, I was like, oh my God, you're just a jerk now. but a typical heel. And to see him lose, it's kind of upset for him because, Cena really doesn't need the belt anymore. Cena doesn't really need any belts. He's just kind of there. And I know Cena's going to begin that point in his career where he slowly transitions and builds up other people. I thought this would have been a good opportunity for that, but I hope that this truly is the last time these two guys fight. I'd like to see them both move on to something else. Lastly, Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. As predicted, Brock Lesnar is a machine, and he just immediately starts wrecking Seth Rollins. And really amazing athleticism by Brock Lesnar to run and hurdle over the audience barricade, grab Seth Rollins, bring him back in the ring. I think it was something like 14 or 15 suplexes. So definitely Suplex City was open for business. There's a really cool flurry with Seth Rollins where he started gaining momentum and he kept dive bombing out of the ring. I think he did it like 2 or 3 times in a row to Brock Lesnar, really building up momentum. And I was like, this is really, really good. And they started going back and forth, and then Brock just immediately turned into beast mode. And I think we all predicted this was going to be a squash match. And then the lights go out and Undertaker's gong hits. And I was like, what the heck? Undertaker comes out, low blows Brock Lesnar, kicks him right in the nuts, and then proceeds to hit him with a choke slam, which Brock Lesnar sells amazingly well because of his athleticism. You see how high the dude jumped? And then eats a pair of tombstones. I did not like this booking at all. I thought this was atrocious. Undertaker was arguably, the man, no doubt about it. Brock beat him fair and square to end the streak at WrestleMania. Fair and square, no doubt about it. And to see the way that Undertaker's booked to come out, low blow a guy, interrupt his match, get him disqualified, whatever. I mean, the match just ended. There's no... Seth Rollins just vanished after that. The belt vanished. The referee vanished. It was just lame. It was probably one of the worst bookings I personally have seen. If you want to bring Undertaker back, that's cool. Bring him back in like a different way. But to have him ambush a guy during a championship match that he earned, and then to low blow him, and then to start that, I mean, I don't know if they want me to not like Undertaker, but I don't. And the dude looks freaking ancient. Oh my God, dude. That guy just does not age well. Obviously, they're setting up for some sort of match between Brock and Undertaker at SummerSlam. I don't know what that means for the championship shot or for anything else that's going on. I'm sure someone will rise to fill in that gap. But, yeah, I didn't like that booking at all. And, again, Undertaker just came off looking very heelish almost. And Brock Lesnar actually looked like the good guy. He was just assaulted. I mean, the guy's just fighting a match, doing his thing. He wasn't being disrespectful to anybody. He was just fighting. And, yeah, I mean, he dismantled the Authority, which was cool. And then he was going after the Big Cheese, and Seth Rollins gets away, and it's like, oh. So I feel the era of Seth Rollins has not ended. I got nothing against the guy. I think he's an amazing wrestler. But, I mean, you look at his time as the leader of the Shield. Although they say, they've rewritten history, and they say he's the leader of the Shield. Okay. His time as the Shield, post-Shield breakup, WWE champion. We've seen a lot of the guy. They definitely have a lot of stock in him, and not to take anything away from it, but he really came off like a weasel, and it's time for a stronger champ. So I don't know what this means for him. I don't know what this means for Brock. I don't know what this means for Undertaker, but that was really a bad way to end the show. And not only that, the show ended like 20 minutes early. It was like 10:35 Eastern or 10:40 Eastern when the show ended, and I was like, what? It's over? The announcers didn't say anything. Just Undertaker comes out, low blows the dude, does a couple choke slams or tombstones, and walks off. So all in all, like I said, I think it was a good fight or a good card overall. Hats off to the Divas division. That really, I think, was probably one of the best Divas matches I've seen in quite a while. And then Cena, just because he's my man. I mean, he looked amazing. But Kevin Owens really put on an amazing show. I hope he's not going anywhere. But that finale match, man, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. I'm curious to see what everyone else says on the internet, but I hated it. Anyways, that's all I got for this. Hope you enjoyed my review / commentary of Battleground. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment box below. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.